I admire the design of Shen. They managed to do something very creative and very memorable, and they really took advantage of the fact that it's a peacock and gave us something very pleasant to watch. By seeing his parents, who are regular coloured peacocks, we can tell that Shen is either albinic or leucistic, most likely the latter. This could further add to his angst and how angry he could feel, seeing how he would stick out like a sore thumb and look rather sickly by comparison, which is not a good image for the royal family, especially when you look at his parents who were just so colourful. I began to notice this as we see him for the first time, and we see these wearing white and silver coloured robes. I really love this because I would have expected him to be wearing something along the lines of blue or green to match a normal-looking peacock. But no, he wears the exact same colour as his feathers to show that he wears his imperfection with pride. And I think that shows how evil he is, because it just shows he knows he's not a force to be reckoned with, and he's not making any effort to hide it. He just wants everyone else to know the same. It's odd because if you look at some of the concept art of Shen before the film, his robes are actually white and red coloured. It itself is actually a continuing theme throughout the entire film, but I'll be getting into more of that later on. Shen's actual features are very reminiscent of an ancient Chinese emperor, with the crest on his head acting as a sort of headdress and can look a little bit like the hairstyles they would have back then. And it also goes without saying that Shen has what can only be lovingly described as a Fu Manchu-style moustache. One final thing that I can't get off my mind is, I'll admit, when I heard the villain was going to be a peacock, I was thinking to myself, how on earth are you going to put clothes on a peacock? All those feathers, isn't it going to be fairly awkward? But luckily they did a good enough job with it, like having the rope sort of be cut a little bit at the front, and it adds a lot more freedom for his legs to move around. And the back of it is well designed as well, so it'll go up as the tail goes up. Now, of course, one thing that makes many villains great is showing how funny they can sometimes be, and Shen is definitely that.
Shen! A panda stands between you and your destiny. What? Prepare yourself for a hot... What?
His funny moments mostly come when he's on the screen with another character, like the boss wolf.
Look, Shen! I saw a panda! A panda? A Kung Fu warrior. It fought like a demon. Big and furry. Soft and squishy. Kind of plush and cuddly.
Po.
Sort of evil janitor or something.
Greetings, Panda. We meet.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Or even the soothsayer.
I see pain
Ow!
and anger,
How dare you! That is the finest silk in the province!
followed by denial.
This is not fortune-telling. You're just saying what's happening right now.
Now,
Most prominently is the running gag that the soothsayer, being a goat, can't stop nibbling at Shen's robes.
Will you stop that?
Don't even think about it.
Just his reaction of getting fed up as everyone else who starts to wind him up and annoy him are pretty hilarious in and of themselves. Although one comedic element that I think only my BF and I noticed was the fact that he comes very close to swearing on a couple of occasions. First is when he ordered the boss wolf to light the cannon, but Mantis kept putting out the fuse and he shouts,
Well, like that thing!
You could tell in the way his mouth started to move that he was almost very close to saying something else. And I'm aware that might be stretching it, but it's a lot more noticeable later. Just before the boss wolf is killed, and he shouts,
Fire for fire that dog!
I have to admit, I definitely laughed hard the first time I heard that, because I can imagine him thinking that the censors will let him get away with mass genocide, but no way will they ever let him swear. Also, let's look in detail at that prophecy made by the soothsayer, shall we? The prophecy went that if Shen continued on his destructive path, he would be defeated by a warrior of black and white. And of course, Shen, overhearing this, was practical and thought it meant a panda, so he went out and killed them all, hoping that he could change his fate. However, later in a montage scene, we see Shen holding the halberd up against his face, and the 2D animation colours show half his face to be black and leaves the other white. This not only shows the obvious complexity and dimensions in his character, but it also comes full circle later because at the end of the film it's ultimately his own fault when he's finally killed. But it's a little amusing to me because once again it's another very self-fulfilling prophecy. If Shen never even overheard the soothsayer in the first place, or if the prophecy was never even spoken about, then all of the chaos surrounding it never would have happened at all. The reason the prophecy was even mentioned is because his parents were concerned when he started to study the fireworks and really loved the idea that he could destroy things. Which is pretty much true. You don't need me to tell you that fireworks themselves are fun and spectacular, but are also extremely dangerous. And with this knowledge, he later invented the cannons, which actually combine the elements of his parents' fireworks. So it almost makes you think, what would have happened to him if he never actually went insane in the first place? Maybe he would have gone down in Chinese history as another great monarch and inventor, just like his parents. However, they do actually hint that he was already slightly twisted even before he overheard the prophecy, and you have to think his parents must have had a pretty solid reason to be concerned about their son's sanity. Another quick thought that just came to my mind is that when you think hard about it, Lord Shen has been imposed life a lot more than we first initially thought. Because let's rewind, going all the way back to the first film. Po became the Dragon Warrior after he tried to get into the Jade Palace to see the Furious Five performing different stunts by strapping a bunch of fireworks to a chair, which was actually based on the legend of Wan Hu from ancient China. Wan Hu was a Chinese official during the Ming Dynasty, and according to legend, he strapped a lot of fireworks to his chair in order to get to the moon. But as the legend goes, both him and the chair disappeared after the fireworks were lit and were never seen again. After his rather ludicrous plan manages to succeed, an Oogway chose him to be the Dragon Warrior. This is how he met his destiny, by using the fireworks on the chair to get into the palace. And of course, who invented the fireworks? Coincidence? I think not. Now let's see what Shen's weapons consist of.